New Zealand, the funerals began today for the 50 victims shot down last Friday in a Christchurch mosque by Australian suspect Brenton Tarrant. The first to be buried were a father and son, Khalid and Hamza Mustafa, who arrived in the country last year as refugees from Syria.
And meanwhile, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern dispatched her foreign minister to Turkey. Why? To confront controversial comments by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The Turkish leader said his country would send anti-Islamic Australians back home in coffins like in World War I. Australia has summoned the Turkish ambassador over those remarks. Joining us live on that from Christchurch, New Zealand, Ali Mustafa, presenter for TRT World. Ali, it sounds like the Turkish government is now trying to walk back those comments just a little bit.
It is quite a heated environment. You have to realize that 50 people have been killed. Turkey considers itself to be the leader of the Muslim world. Turkey, in fact, was the first country to dispatch a high-level delegation, including its vice president, the foreign minister, days after this incident happened. And they met victims and they met survivors, and they heard these harrowing stories of how devastated the small Muslim community has been in Christchurch. And these are stories of women like Khushbu Vora, a migrant from the Indian state of Gujarat, where her family fled the Gujarat anti-Muslim pogroms of 2002. They moved around India, finally settling in New Zealand, her husband and her. She's 27 years old now. They've been trying to have a baby for many years. She had 2 miscarriages. And finally, she gave birth days before this incident happened. But the baby was in an incubator because of some problems. The father couldn't hold her. They went to the hospital on Friday. He dropped her off at the hospital. He said, "I'll be back in a couple of hours." And he went to the mosque and he didn't return. So you can imagine the sentiment, the emotion that is running at this time, not only here in Christchurch, but across the Muslim world, across Muslim communities around the world. And Turkey is a central part.
But Ali, given that sentiment, and you're there in Christchurch, you're feeling that emotion, that's understandable. Isn't that more reason that comments like President Erdogan's risk the danger of only inflaming tensions more?
Erdogan is not known for holding back what he truly thinks, he feels is the right thing to say. And this isn't the first time that he has made remarks that have upset others, but also keep some context here. This Australian man traveled to Turkey multiple times. He dedicated 3 pages in his 74-page manifesto where he calls for the destruction of the Muslim legacy in Turkey. He says things like, we will take back Hagia Sophia, we will push back the Muslims to the Asian side. So this irks up Turkey, that, you know, and I know that people tend to get into a lot of whataboutism. What about this? What about that? That's maybe not the right approach. But from the Turkish perspective, they see it as, okay, when a Muslim travels to a country, grows a beard, and condemns, let's say, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, he is put on a radar, arrested, and questioned ASAP. This man has had some trail, Turkey is saying. And he goes in, kills 50 people, and the reaction from Australia has been largely muted. In New Zealand, the Prime Minister, Ardern, came out and condemned it outright. And there is a lot of sympathy in the Muslim community here for the Prime Minister of New Zealand. They are embracing her. There's widespread praise of her. But the Australian Prime Minister, where this man was from, hasn't even come out and called him a terrorist. So then the dichotomy here is that while they're praising Ardern and embracing her, they're also praising Erdogan, because he sent a delegation, including the vice president of Turkey. The Turkish opposition, CHP, also came. So high-powered delegations from Turkey are coming here. No one from Australia has come here. Yeah. So from their perspective, the community's perspective, they see it in black and white. They are hurting, and they see who's on their side and who isn't.
Right. Ali Mustafa.